What?
Do it? Okay. So we thought we would, Sherry, Stacy's the one that wanted us to talk about living DNA and she's not here, but that's okay. So we thought we'd talk about living DNA, a little bit about my heritage, and then whatever else somebody else wants to talk about. So, Sherry, did you want to show your living DNA? Because yours is more than mine, or I can, whichever
Well,
you
I
want to
can
do.
share mine. I didn't
Okay,
play
you
with
share
it.
yours and then I'll do mine. Okay.
Okay, I didn't play with mine much, but
Okay.
I have
Right.
two kits. I uploaded Craig's and mine, so I can do that.
Mhm.
Let's see. Gotta move some stuff out of the way here. There we go, share.
I was looking at mine and I can't find trees, so that's all right. Okay. Let's
You
see what we
can't
got
find
here.
what?
Pedigree chart. I don't know if there's any pedigrees on them. So that
Oh,
was it. Yeah.
I didn't spend a lot of time on that. This is
Okay.
you can see here, I'll do the overview. This
Hmm.
is my kit, and they've got a lot of blog type articles. Um, you can see that they're trying to push the fact that they have science and they're doing, all of that kind of stuff. It
Hmm.
says total regions 3, total subregions 6, and I'm gonna go ahead and click load your results. So this is about the skinniest ethnicity list I have on any of the sites. I'm
Wow.
just telling you.
Yeah.
And while the living DNA's claim to fame is the parcels and counties within the British Isles, you can see that I'm just kind of a blob. England, Wales, 7.8, Scotland, Ireland, 1.9.
Hmm.
So I get to all the islands. I think it's interesting that my Eastern European, my father's family came from that little dippy thing right there in Chechnya. So I usually have this whole region covered. They don't even take me over that far. But they do a good job of covering my mom's Swiss family.
Hmm.
So I think that's kind of interesting. And then as you scroll down, let's see if I can click on it. That's just the map. So that's all you get.
Yeah.
And they do versioning, but let me switch over to Craig because he has a more interesting profile than I do. As you can see, he has little compartments within England.
That looks like mine.
So you can
I was
see
gonna
here,
say
he
that
has
looks
Great
more like
Britain, and then look
mine.
at all this indented stuff.
Mhm.
He's
Yep.
81.6% Great Britain, Ireland, which is really high because most of the sites show him as at least 50% Scandinavian, which you can see they have it highlighted. But look at all the breakout they have here. Central, Southeast, South Central. I'm going to just kind of scroll down here so you can see the whole list. There we go. So you could see Great Britain, and then they've indented this whole big long line to make up the 81.6%. And if you, let's see, I've never figured out that their map isn't seriously. But if you click on one, then they bring you up this, they zoom into it so you can find the location, and then they give you this history of that particular area, why Europeans went there and the second wave of migration, um, pretty detailed information about, and I like the fact they cite their sources. So they're trying to be really upfront about it, but they do have this nice, they zoom in on the map and then you can zoom back out and say, oh, that's where that's at. So that's kind of nice. And then you can see if let me go back out a little bit, get his bigger map here. He has just this one North, South Germanic 16.5%. Let me get, there we go. And then he's got Scandinavia, which is interesting that they don't really include Denmark. I think that was really interesting.
At least the Schleswig-Holstein part of it.
Yeah. So that's Craig's. It's kind of interesting the way they do it.
Mhm.
And they do offer, you can split it into lines, and if you have family matching, and you can drop it. Let's see if Craig's got any Neanderthal. Oh, for $25, I can get
Yeah,
archaic.
yeah.
And then the same, I think, with Viking is $22. So you have to pick and choose where you want to spend your money.
Mhm.
Classical. Okay, and this is kind of interesting to me because my heritage, which I'm going to show you later, opens some of this stuff up. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Father line,
I think that's extra.
click in now. So it gives your haplogroup and your haplotype, um, and gives you some interesting, and you can see the distribution maps. I think this graphic is kind of nice. They do a nice job with some of the graphics, but this map here, migration map, looks very, very similar to the one that you have on Family Tree DNA, especially if you do the Y test.
Mhm.
And you can see this distribution map here, the people that are in your haplogroup. So remember, they're only giving you haplogroup father line history. So
If you have a Y-DNA, this must have been
no, this is living DNA from the autosomal. They've parsed this way.
really okay.
Yeah, they've used a
Okay.
little bit of different math.
Well, the
And if I go
Y,
back here and I pick um, mother line, then
Mhm.
this is his other side. So it gives his maternal haplogroup and haplotype
Yeah.
and the distribution of that haplogroup, not Craig specifically, but the haplogroup and the migration map.
Yeah. Okay. I can show mine off if you want.
Yeah. So let me
Okay.
stop
I'll let you stop
sharing.
sharing and I'll go into mine. And we'll look at my haplogroups and all those other things, see if your mother and I are, so we'll do a share. And I'm going to share here and share. Let's see, what do I got up here? Where's my living DNA? There it is. Okay. So this happens to be my aunt, and I was kind of curious because she's always a generation back, and tells me that she has 138 shared matches. And I'm like, okay, that's good, but I was kind of curious um, if I could figure out who she shares other matches with. So, but if I click on that, so here's everybody that she has matches with as we go through there. Don't know any of these people, and none of them are very large. Okay. Um, I got to shrink you down over here. And I'm thinking, but she has 11 shared matches. So Niall and Margaret share 11 people. And I kept trying to click on this and it doesn't work. But what you do is I go over and click on the view profile for Niall and it comes back and tells me I have 11 matches. These are the matches that we have that Margaret and Niall have in common. And if I click on those, this is what I get. It's not as intuitive as
Mhm.
Ancestry and Family Tree DNA and MyHeritage as you go through there. But it does tell you that there's segments and how many she's got. And you can just work your way through the shared matches and go down a rabbit hole with each one of those if you wanted to do that. What I was looking for is to see if anybody had, but I don't think they have trees, is my whole thing. If you go into Ancestry, I mean, there's no place for that. As we go through there, you can do the medical, but um, they're just, there's no place for trees. So here's my shared map. Let's see what happens. Show map. It shows both your and your matches regions. So oh, it's down here. So this is where it's nothing new. It's exactly, we got Iceland on there though. That was,
They group Iceland as part of Scandinavia.
yeah, but mostly we get this as we go through there. That's my aunt. I could go, I should go back and choose, where's, oh, she's my aunt. Oh, that's right. Well, let's go and look at what have I got here? My mother line should be H1, just like your mother, Sherry. So, or
Mhm.
yeah, or yours are
That was Craig's, yeah.
Craig's. Okay. And then if I look at my fatherland, see, they don't, you have to be a male to get fatherland. So that's it. Um, what else have we got here? Um, I was looking for my recent ancestry. That's what I was looking for. Recent ancestry. And let's see, here's my regions and my subregions. So I am 87% Great Britain and Ireland, 27% Ireland, which is a little bit small compared to the other ones. But I do pick up 8% of Northern Ireland. And then I get Lincolnshire, Northumbria, just like it just keeps going and so forth and so on. And then I get South Germanic, which kind of surprises me because my great grandfather is from up here. But for some reason, I'm not picking that up. But I do have a little Swiss, so that's part of it. So we go from there. Um, what else could we look at? Um, we can't do we can't do any of this because I haven't chosen to do it or I haven't paid extra, and it's just the family matching that we get the matching. But I don't. Here's my DNA relatives. We'll come back to that. So there's my aunt. I do know who this guy is, but I don't know any of these other people. And we've got some substantial DNA being shared. I'm in the 40 centimorgans, but I really don't know who they are. They give you a little United States, the British Isles, Ireland. I think that's Ireland. So, that's some place for me to go looking and see what happens. And if I were to view her profile and see what we find from her, she just simply says she lives in Ireland and she's a third to fifth cousin. And that's all. I mean, I can message her that there's no trees. There's the relationship they think is right. Uh, so these are the possibilities. I like this, that it's a little more visual, where she, you know, to see what's going on. I can write notes. Here's my shared map again. And you notice it's Ireland, so that's not a surprise. Um, let's go
Up,
back.
up there at the top where it says 6 matches, does that show you the matches of matches?
Kind of, but not really. Um, it, you get, and that's not what I want. Let's go back. Um, go back to here. All right, let's go back one more time. Okay. So yeah, if you get, it's the shared matches. So I share 52 centimorgans with Joe Morgan. I have 5 shared matches, so the matches of matches type thing. But in order to see them, I have to come over and click on his profile. And then up here, here's the 5 matches that we share. But I don't get to see how much DNA. This is what I share with them, but not, this is what I share with the shared match, but I don't see what Joe shares with the shared matches. So you get a little bit of a hint as we go through there, but it's
Oh,
not,
and
go ahead.
can you walk through that Matchbox group? Did you create that Irvine group?
Yeah, I started. That's the first time I did it. I put in there, so I can put it, it's a group, so I can put people in it. I want to. So Joe's in the Irvin group. And then anybody that I have a shared match, I would put in with him. So like I said, that these are people I don't know, but they obviously would go in that match box. So go through there.
Oh, Margaret's very active. I see that.
Yes, very active, less active, less active, less active. So, and I have the feeling that mine was probably labeled less active too.
Sure.
I had not looked at it in a long time. So
I have a couple of questions. I haven't known about or not realized I knew about it, living DNA. Is that one, it appears that it's probably one where you have to send in DNA
no, if you can transfer.
from Ancestry?
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's go into the home
The
and
caveat there is I cannot get under Ancestry, I cannot get the mother line because I
Oh.
transferred. If I
Oh.
paid for it through them, then I could get the mother line.
Mhm.
If you paid for through which?
If I pay for a
Living
living DNA
DNA test.
test,
Yeah.
so I give them the money and they send me back the kit and I send that in and they test it, you would get the mother line, or in case you're a man, you get the father line,
Mhm.
right? But
Okay,
since I uploaded my results from Ancestry,
You
it
don't
says
get the
I
whole
cannot
thing.
get those because the markers are not there.
okay,
Ah.
only the father line then from it
No.
by transfer?
No, you couldn't.
No.
Well,
First
you're a
of
woman, you
all,
can't
you're
get the
never
From
going to
father
get the
transfer.
line.
fella. You have to be a male in order to get the father lion.
Right.
So-
Okay, so question, this is very timely for me. I was just ready to do a deep dive on my husband's,
Mhm.
who is enormously mostly British and we have some information from quite far back,
Mhm.
1600s and before. But so on his on the Grant line, and then his grandmother's line, which is Bolton. So, and he's got a sister. So, what can maximize what I might be able to get on those two, on his, see, it'd be his great grandfather's, no, his grandmother's father and grandfather and grandmother lines, as much as I could get from this, from living DNA. He and his sister or just his, all three of us, well, both my husband and his sister, we have ancestry DNA. So do either, and which of them should I get the living DNA in order to maximize my possibilities?
Well, if you're Carla, from what you said, that if she transfers it over any one of those, if she transfers it from ancestry to living DNA, she will not get the father line or the mother line.
Correct.
Okay. So
If
if
you-
you
Neither?
neither,
Okay.
neither.
Okay, so I would have
But you
to,
still get matches, right, Carla?
You'll get matches.
Yeah, you'll still get matches and you still get to see some information. Like I paid for the extra Viking test. It was like $20 or something. But you have pretty much, you can upload for free and then everything is extra from that point on. But if you're going to do it and you really want to see like the mother line, the father line, that kind of stuff,
yeah.
then it's $90 for that test.
Mhm.
So my best bet for this situation would be to have both my husband and his sister. Or should I go, Let's
I
see,
always
he's
go
got,
with the oldest person possible. Like
yeah, I
if
was just gonna say, he's got
because yes,
cousins.
I could get my mother, I mean, I could get my sister, myself, and my brother tested, or I could get my mother and her siblings tested. It's much better to go with that older
Yeah,
generation if
yeah,
they're any of them
we don't
still
have,
alive.
we're old. We don't have any mothers anymore to test. But okay, well, this is very helpful. I appreciate it, and it's
Well,
hugely timely.
I'm trying to find out because when I looked at this the first time, it told me that I could transfer, but I am not seeing it on the website now. They've done a good job of hiding it, I guess. And they're having a sale right now.
Oh,
So there's always a sale. So it's $90, which is what she was talking
As
about there.
opposed to
okay.
124.
120,
Yeah.
Well, that's a sale.
Yeah,
A
that's it.
sale's a sale.
Mm-hmm. So
All right.
I'm trying to find where you can transfer it, but I do not
Well,
see
if
it.
I'm
Right down
fine
there at
with,
the bottom, it says free DNA upload. Don't know if you see that next to the help, Teresa. Nope, go on
Yep.
down. Keep right there. Do you see it?
Yep.
Your cursor's on it. Nope,
In
go
the
first
first
column.
column,
Oh,
First
there,
column under products. Go
up
down to the
free
next one up.
DNA upload. There it is. I knew I'd seen it. But that was 3 hours ago. So here it is. Uh, so they'll talk about it. It's from Ancestry or MyHeritage or 23andMe, anybody you've tested with. But again, you will not, what you're not getting is you're not getting the haplogroups. That's,
yeah,
that's,
I think
that's,
what I think I'm sitting on for my husband's family,
mhm.
I'll spring for a couple for him and
But
his
you will
sister too.
not, I don't think they'll give you Y DNA matches. Do you understand
I
what I'm
have
saying?
Y on my
Family tree
husband,
DNA, yeah.
yeah, for him, and
Well,
we've got it
you already
all
have
the
the
way
full
back
you already have the
to
full
the
haplogroup. You
Yeah, you
already
don't
have
need
eighties.
the
the,
haplogroups because if you've got family tree DNA, you've already got the haplogroups.
you don't need to do that.
Yeah, so you can just, what I did is I had originally tested with family tree DNA because that's how long ago I tested. And then I tested with Ancestry, and then I pulled Ancestry and pushed it up to Living DNA and over to MyHeritage,
Mhm.
right? But once, if you haven't, say you haven't tested with family tree DNA, you can upload there as well. I mean, it's just, there's
My
no
husband,
reason to pay
I've done
multiple.
the Y for my husband,
Yeah,
and
there's no
that's
reason to do it. You do not need to pay extra to get that off living DNA because it's going to be exactly the
Exactly.
same thing.
It's
Well,
going to be
okay.
the exact
So
same thing.
I can transfer for my husband, but buy a new one for his sister.
well, I don't even know. I don't think
I wouldn't
well,
do that either because why would you need, what do you need different from her that you can't get from him?
I don't know.
Yeah.
well, she probably didn't, you didn't do the mitochondrial DNA. And that's the
Not,
only
no,
thing you'll get. And
no.
that haplogroup, if I'll be honest, if you're from Western Europe, it's going to be H1B. I mean,
well,
not really.
my I
I can't say that for sure, but I'd be willing to bet on it. I'd put a little bit of money on that.
I'm from Europe and or Western Europe and mine's a
Oh,
U151.
you're unusual.
and
That's
I'm an
amazing.
H3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the whole idea is that the mitochondrial to me is I know they're getting there, but
But
it's
it's
still
not
not
there.
as important right now to get
Mhm.
that. It's just a haplogroup and it doesn't mean much.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're better off to put your money into like an ancestry test and then export that into Living DNA and MyHeritage and
My
Family
Heritage won't
Tree.
accept it. My
They
Heritage won't accept them anymore.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry. So, but upload them any other place for free or for reduced rates, right?
Mhm.
If because I
Yeah.
know my Heritage accepted mine, but it was like $10 a pop or something like that. But it's been a few years.
Yeah. No.
Family tree
And that's
DNA takes it.
yeah, family tree DNA. My Heritage, it's been relatively recent, within the last year, I'd say, that they said we will not accept transfers. So,
Okay. We've transferred mine and my husband's, but not his sister's.
mhm. Okay.
Um, okay.
Yeah.
Very helpful. Thank you so
So
much.
I would just transfer some over to Live DNA and then just see what
See
happens
what I
as you
get.
go through there.
Thank you.
Okay. So that's our thing about Living DNA. It is an English company, and so it really is focused on the details of the British Isles more than anything else. So, and my English ancestry is from the 1700s, and I don't think I'll ever figure out who's from Cornwall and who's from Northumberland. It's probably not going to happen. So that's it. The other thing we thought we'd talk about was my heritage. Sherry, were you going to talk about traits, or do you want me to?
I was going to talk about traits. I was just going to do the comparison between
Okay, I'll just,
uploaded
yeah,
and the
okay.
new MyHeritage test.
Okay, I will show that because
Okay.
they made a big deal that the traits are new. I don't really care about the traits. I don't think it's a big deal, but some of you might think it's fun. Um, hmm. Oh, I have to pay extra for it. I didn't realize. I thought
Yeah,
they just
it's a,
gave
I
it to
thought
me.
it was an add-on.
Okay, so for $19, I'm not spending the money. Okay. But there's the various things that they talk about, what traits their personalities and so forth and so on. So it's there if you want to do it. I don't really care. And it's kind of
But
fun.
it's on sale.
It's on sale for only $19. I still don't care. Now I get emails from them every week with matches to my tree, which I find not very helpful. But they also send me a list of my new DNA matches. I have turned that on. And that's kind of interesting because I do find some people that I'm like, oh, okay. And some of them are kind of strong DNA matches. So Ancestry doesn't really do that for me for some reason. I have not turned it back on. So we'll go from there. I'm going to stop sharing, and then Sherry can play with MyHeritage as we go through there. Okay. I'll let you take over.
Okay. So just to see, while I get my sharing to work,
Mhm.
what I did was I had uploaded my ancestry years ago. And when they came out with their new test that said they were now going to do a whole genome is now part of their regular testing, I thought, well, I want to see if that's different. And so they had it on sale, and I went ahead and grabbed one and submitted the kit. And I downloaded today the DNA
Ooh.
file. So I've been doing a little bit of comparison, but let me show you. So now they show me, here's my account, and I have two kits. I have my Ancestry DNA and I have my MyHeritage DNA. And here's kind of the interesting thing that's happening. As you can see here in this overview, on my Ancestry kit, it gives me these percentages plus 8 other ethnicities and 3 genetic groups. Remember, their genetic groups are similar to Ancestry's journeys. It used to be communities, so I have to remember the new terminology. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this and show you. This is what my Ancestry. Now, if you've uploaded your kit, they have fairly recently updated the ethnicities into this new, what they're calling version 2.5. So you can see, you can go back to the 0.95 version if you want to, or you can stay in the 2.5. 2.5, I think, has come around because of the work they're doing with the whole genome. But you can see here that here's my ethnicity breakdown: Germanic, English, Eastern Europe, Scotch, Welsh, Dutch, that's new, French. Some of my family now have French on Ancestry, Breton, Danish, Italian, Irish, and then here's my 3 genetic groups. I've got Midwestern, Northeastern, Midwestern. I'm not sure why they have 2 with this opposite names. And then my Swiss, which is exactly what Ancestry has done. They've taken Swiss out of the ethnicity and they've moved it into a journeys. So this models what I've got on Ancestry very, very, very closely. But if I switch, oops, sorry, didn't mean to do that. Sorry, didn't want to make you seasick. I can switch to my heritage account. And you can see my percentages are different. So same DNA, but part of it is what they've got going. So you can see I have a few more ethnicity groups, Irish, Swedish, Baltic, and I've got several more of the genetic groups. So that's, to me, that's just the upfront difference between the uploaded ancestry DNA and taking my heritage test. Okay. Any questions about what this looks like? I think it's very, very, very close, but there just are some nuances about that. Okay. And then under DNA matches, my matches are pretty much the same because I have some really strong, I've got some first cousin once removed that have all tested or uploaded their ancestry kits. And so they show up under both kits. So that's kind of not a big deal there. But I want to switch back to ancestry. And you'll notice on ancestry kit, I have this view my theories, you know, the theory of family relativity. When I come over to my heritage matches, I'm not seeing those. I'm only seeing smart matches. So I'm not quite sure why I'm not seeing theory of relativity, unless it's just.
Did you attach a tree to it?
I have a tree attached to my profile, and here they're
Okay.
showing these are my kits attached to my profile.
Okay.
So
Hey.
I'm going to give it some more time because
When I first loaded my stuff up to my heritage, it took me close to like 6 months to get any theory of relativities.
yeah,
Really?
They don't run it very often.
yeah, and I think they've gotten a little bombarded with people doing new kits because of this offering of the whole genome. Now, to be clear, if you've and Glenn can keep me honest here, my understanding is that my heritage is not doing a complete whole genome analysis. From what I've read, they're doing 2,000 to 3,000 markers, but they're not doing, you know, the whole genome is about 3 times that. So it's, you know, there are those that when they first announced it, that came out and said, I'd wait a little while because if you're going to do a whole genome, you really want the whole genome. But I was just curious. So I stuck my toe in. What's interesting about it is I did download the DNA. What's interesting I found is when I looked at my downloaded ancestry, and I haven't downloaded it again recently. I don't know is that there's any value in doing that. Doesn't cost me anything, so I might try that. But I'm just going to give you some statistics. Well, let me have you look at something prettier than that. So the file sizes, they're a zip file. Ancestry's got downloaded as text. My heritage got downloaded as a CSV file. So it comes automatically into a spreadsheet-like format. I just copied the text over to Excel. So the uncompressed file runs about 19 meg, which is really big, really, when you think about it. But what's interesting is Ancestry gave me chromosomes 1 through 25. My heritage gave me 1 through 22, and I got X. So I'm not getting a side-by-side for every single chromosome. The download on my heritage.
You only have 23 chromosomes, 22 autosomal and then the sex, which is the 23rd. So I don't know what the 25 is.
I don't know. They're marked as 23, 24, 25 on the ancestry
Really?
download.
That is unusual. Okay.
So I don't know what that represents from that perspective.
Okay.
They're both huge files. So just if you ever go and peek into your DNA files, they're huge. Ancestry's runs 701,000 rows, where my heritage runs my heritage was 584,000 rows. So just so you know, I haven't had time to compare chromosome by chromosome.
Okay.
But they both have downloaded at the SNP level if you want to get into the weeds on your DNA. So they're huge files and they show you, oh, I guess I could open that up and show you guys what they look like because it's kind of interesting. As I segue into that. So it was kind of interesting from that perspective that they aren't exactly the same, but they're similar. And I'll just open up, let me open up my heritage one just because it's new. Oh. Here. So I'm gonna pull this over and show you. So it gets downloaded as a zip file, which you can click on, and then you can just open. This will open the compacted file within Excel. So you don't have to kind of mess with, you can extract it if you guys know how zip files work. You can extract it if you want to. But it comes in and it opens, because it's a CSV file, it gives you all this data at the top. So it says here, this method is the low pass whole genome sequencing with the date stamp and the reference of the build number. They give you a lot of information here about the fact that they're providing an identifier. This is the RSID number, which chromosome it's on, which position it starts in, and the result. So you remember we have a double-strand DNA. So at that position, you have the ACGT, the 4 proteins that are part of our DNA. We're down into the we're down looking at the parts of the double helix here. And so it gives you for here, it's showing for chromosome 1, starting in the first position, the values that are on that strand at that, essentially that SNP level, right? And they give you this big, huge warning when you download it, it's no longer under their security and all of that stuff. I'm going to scroll clear to the bottom. And you can see positions now are huge, have gotten much bigger. So they're going from a measurement that they have in the, and I can get this blown up here a little bit, a measurement that they're measuring and the location within the DNA on chromosome 1 to this is the very last one on chromosome, on my X chromosome, or the 23. So, and you can just see that there are, I can tell you right now, I ran through this. There's 24,044 rows for X. I have 8,111 rows for 22, and I have 7,556 rows for 21. I just went to the bottom and moved back up. So this is what the data looks like if you ever want to play around with, you know, what's my DNA value at this place on this chromosome.
Yeah.
It's a bit geeky for me, so I'm just telling you. But when you open it up like this, you can see that it says a read only. So I can't corrupt this or edit this or change this anyway. Because I opened up and changed the column width, Excel was said, do you want to save your changes? So I'm going to say don't save because I want to keep everything the way I received it. So that's kind of what the files look like. If you open up your Ancestry DNA, if you download your DNA, it looks exactly the same. There's an RSID number, there's which chromosome it's on, and the values at that point. So they're very similar from that perspective. But one of the things that I thought was interesting is over here on the Ancient Origins tab within My Heritage. So they give you some additional information they've gleaned from their sample database, right? So here under Ancient Origins, this, as you can see, I'm still on my Heritage account, or kit, I should say. You can see that in the Bronze Age, they're saying that we have to have some information here. This genetic fit score has to do with how close, very close, or how close your DNA matches to this ancient population. And they've got data down below about where these samples for this population came from. As we know, there's a lot of old graves that have been discovered with DNA that they've put out into the research domain. And so when you go into some of these, you can see how much Neanderthal are you, or how much was Viking, or how much you matched someone that was found at Pompeii or all of those places. That's what MyHeritage is using, is that data, that research database. So they've grouped it by Bronze Age, Iron Age, Roman era, Middle Ages. And then they've said, here's how you compare to those known DNA samples, but you can see it's how close is your DNA. This is not a DNA match. This is just relative distance, right? So you can see they've used this green to red to help identify how close you are to those people. So I just wanted to give, this is through all of them. They use this color marking. So you can see here that my genetic fit is 1.607, which is close. Not very close, because very close is under 1. But it gives you some interesting things. And if you click on these, it'll open up and give you some a video, which I didn't turn on sound, but it'll show you where that group is at. And as you scroll down, they give you some information about the culture and the reference samples that were used. So you can, and the culture name. So you can get down in your ancient weeds in a hurry. So you can see 44, not a very big difference here between my central steppe and European farmer, Bronze Age, and Egyptian. I have a little bit of Egyptian genetic fit. And then you can click on Iron Age, and now they've resort that, and they've said, oh, you're a 1.286 fit.
Getting closer.
And I have a whole bunch more, lots more colors. You can see I've got some Southeast Asian, Polynesian, clear over here, you know. And all that tells me, I don't know how you guys feel about some of that stuff, but it just tells me people traveled. We're back far enough. Oh, I clicked on Middle Ages. Sorry. I'm in Iron Age. I mean, in theory, if you go back far enough, have the continents split? Was it easier to migrate? Not going to get into that discussion, but just my brain is like, okay, were they sailors? Did they just hoof it over the mountains? All of that stuff. And then you can move over to Roman era, which you can see I get a very close because we're more modern and my DNA is a better fit. And of course, this matches more completely to my DNA matches. So we're getting closer, but you can see how many breakouts they're doing. I still have this Southeast Asian, and I still have your Egyptian, and I now have some of this Roman North Africa, you know. And then I can come all the way forward as far as ancient origins to the Middle Ages. And you can see I'm at 0.7.
If you click on the person, does it tells you who it is you're matching?
All it tells me is down here, it gives you the reference samples.
Okay.
So if you go to the reference population, you can find out where those samples were collected.
Taken. Okay.
It's not like, is it Family Tree DNA that gives you the names of that you share with someone else in that tree level?
Yeah, they do. It's not Family Tree. It might be MyHeritage, but yeah.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to know. I just want to know where they dug up the body. Where did they dig up the body?
Where was it? There you go. But so here's on this stuff, there are differences between my ancestry test and the new MyHeritage test. So in the Bronze Age, they both have 4 breakouts. In the Iron Age, MyHeritage has 10 and Ancestry has 9. On the Roman, they both have 11, and in the Middle Ages, they both have 6. I am much closer in this genetic fit on every single category on the MyHeritage test than I am on my Ancestry test. Not by a lot, but enough that there's a difference. So, and so here we are at the Middle Ages. I'll switch this to the other kit. I still have to go into ancient origins. And you can see very, very similar. But if I come all the way up to Middle Ages, my closeness is 0.861, where on the MyHeritage, it's 0.786. So they're still very close, but there are differences. And this one, you'll notice I don't have this Southeast Asia stuff.
Okay, I was looking at Glenn's note. He just put in chat
Yeah.
that I lost it. What does it say?
Uh,
Louis. Yeah, go ahead.
Louis Kessler from Behold Genealogy has posted a blog where he did a very technical comparison between an old MyHeritage test and the new whole genome
Okay.
sequence. And he goes into a lot of detail in that blog.
Yeah.
So
So-
he, for those of you that aren't looking in the chat, he gives you the link to the blog. So that's good.
And then there's some hunter-gatherer and farmer breakdowns. Each test has the same three. The percentages are essentially identical between the two tests. So this one is probably more in my bailiwick because I am very much European based. So that would make sense. And then if you look at the genetic similarities, this one gets really technical in a hurry. So this is considered an advanced report, but using that same green to red bar, you can see how much of my DNA genetic fit is green. And you can see the lowest one in this 50 ancient populations is 1.773. So it's close. Then they give you this dual origin and this triple origin, and I can click on it, but I couldn't figure out what they were trying to say. So, but you can see I'm just going to scroll down through here. These go up in that number. I'm still in the green. And then I drop into the red, which is the not so close. And you can see all the populations. These are 50 populations that they're comparing my DNA to see what my genetic fit is. But it's all centralized right about here, which kind of makes sense. That's where my most recent family, my autosomal family comes from. And then the other thing they have is genetic distance maps. And these are kind of cool because they do this. I'm right here, which makes perfect sense. I'm right in the middle of Europe. I'm not down here in Southeast Asia, and I'm not over here in sub-Saharan Africa. And they give you some options that you can look at. You know, if I want to go to Europe, I can say, where am I in the Europe clusters? And it'll redraw the pixels.
Ooh.
And it puts me right here where I would expect to be between the Germans and the Brits, right? As that's my DNA. That's my family. As opposed to, this one's kind of fun. If I go to Central Asia, I'm over here. I'm not part of this population at all.
You're some island out there in the middle of nowhere.
Well, but which is kind of funny because, it's like, oh, okay. The other one that's kind of funny is the opposite one in Europe. You can see here, I have a Balkan Turks option in Europe, and I'm off in I'm clear over here. Here's the Turks. Here's Crimean Tartars. Here's the Turkish Balkans. Here's me right by the Croats. So, my Czechoslovakian puts me right there at the tail end of the Eastern European group. So
Looks like
it's
fun.
kind of fun to look at them. They also give you this option instead of using the dots to show it as a cluster. So it might be more appealing to you to look at it this way. If I go back to global, if I switch, yeah, I think I click on it. It will repaint it, and because I have the cluster thing marked, it will. Oh, I have to pick. There's a sub. There we go. You can see it. That's that same position that I was in, right in the middle of Europe, but instead of all the dots, I now have a cluster block. So, advanced report. It's very consistent. I'm European. Here's the sample database of the ancient origins and the populations. They give you some information about where that comes from. It's all fairly technical information, but I thought this was kind of fun just to compare the two kits and see how close they were, because the DNA didn't change. I haven't had stem cell replacement or anything like that. So the DNA is the same, but it was just kind of fun to see the differences.
Yes.
Any questions on this? Anything you guys want me to show you more of?
So if we've tested with MyHeritage, do we get this or do we have to do the whole genome?
I think you got this regardless of which
Okay.
test you had. Yeah,
Okay, good.
because I had it with my ancestry. I don't
Okay.
know if you upgraded to the whole genome. I don't know. What do you
Okay.
think, Glenn? Would you get more specificity in it?
Well, from what I understand, from what I've read, with the whole genome, they're only doing like 2 passes across the whole
Mhm.
genome. So there's a lot of no reads where they don't get a valid reading. But what they do then is they take that and extract out a sample that is similar to the 600,000 markers that they were using in the old testing so they can compare with the rest of their database. So currently, the rest of that data that is out there isn't really being used in your comparisons or your match
Right.
list or any of
Okay,
that.
okay, it's good. I kind of like the story of the Cheddar Man. I think a lot of you have heard that. We always think about cheddar cheese, but cheddar is actually a place in England, and they found the bones of a male. I don't know how many thousands of years ago, and they managed to get the Y DNA out of it. And so then they asked people that lived in the Cheddar area if they would submit their DNA. And there's a grade school teacher there that is an exact match to the Cheddar Man. So he made all the newspapers. He's made his family's obviously been there forever as we go through. So
Yeah.
he's related to the Cheddar Man. Yeah.
But one of the things I did notice is here's my MyHeritage kit. It says I currently have 15,237 matches.
Yeah.
On my Ancestry kit, which has been there for years, I have 16,000. So I think, like Carla said, it's going to take some time for it to crank through their database to find, all the matches and get that theory of relativity caught up, because most of those people have some kind of a tree in there. So
On the theory of relativity, it's active on mine. It's basically their through lines.
yeah.
And sometimes it's right, sometimes it's really wrong.
Well, what's nice about the way they do the theory of relativity is, if I look at my DNA matches, the theories give you different choices, right?
Yeah.
So if I look at review my match, let's see, so review my match. Oh, Spider-Man. I'm related to Spider-Man. Sometimes they come up with more than one theory. And so that's
Sure.
kind of fun to see how they got to that, because either it was someone else's tree or it was through a connection in my family search. I mean, so it's interesting how they come up with all these different pathways of how you and this match could be related. So
Yeah, the one I'm looking at on mine has my side pretty much correct. On their side, the two choices were just how to go through their side of the tree, which of course I'd have to actually look through, and because I don't.
Yeah. So on this
my
particular one, here's path 1, and it says is based. Let me get my cursor. Okay.
Can you make
It's
it a little
based
bit
on
bigger?
3 MyHeritage family trees with 85% confidence. So this is my tree. This is the Dasher Bolesky website tree, and this is the something French Jacob Camus tree. And you can see how we go to the same ancestral couple This tree doesn't go that far back, but they found the connection here with Florence, which is my grandparents' first cousin, right? If I go to path 2, let's see. This one's based on 3 MyHeritage trees, but it's different trees. Well, this Jacob one is the same one. The one in the middle is a different one. And their confidence is 73%. So it's kind of interesting that they connect me to Jacob through Florence, right? The grandchild of Florence Blair, this Florence up here. So they're 73% confident that this ancestral couple connects me to Jacob, right? Because he doesn't have that ancestral package back there. So I think this is really interesting because it shows you how they got to there without you having to do that deep dig. Like sometimes you have to dig into it on through lines on Ancestry.
Yeah, which is nice because Ancestry does not tell you where they got it.
Well, they kind of do if you do the explore thing. So yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can
But
confirm it or reject it, and I just leave them
Yes.
alone.
And that's the part I like about this. You can literally reject it and then reach out to people and say, like, somebody had my mother underneath her stepmother as a child.
Oh,
And so it kept this one person's tree was like in the middle of all these suggestions. And so I reached out to that person, finally got them to remove it, and all those went away. But I knew where to go because of the way they design it here, which
way
is
they
so much
had this
easier
symmetry.
than
Yeah.
Ancestry, because you got to really dig on Ancestry.
Mm-hmm. Because you get that through line view, and then you've got to click on the explore, and then that panel comes out, and then you can look at, oh, these people are in all these trees, and you
Yeah.
got to go through them like one at a time to figure out where's the discrepancy.
Right. This
Right.
just lays it all out. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do a nice job.
And here I've got one that has a guy as my 4th cousin, which he may be, but see, everything is wrong from my father and I are the only ones on my side that's right. That's not my grandfather, my great grandfather. Yeah, it goes back to 3rd great grandfather. None of it is right.
Well, and I think the challenge
And
that all
that's
of
just
these
like anything else. You have to look at it.
Yeah. And I think the challenge is like on all of these, on Ancestry, it's that hint that you just accept and you stick in your tree. And over here, it's somewhat the same thing. They give you those smart matches. And if you just say accept,
Yep, exactly.
and then they prompt you, do you want all the kids? Do you want, you seem like,
No,
do you want
no.
all this data? And you're like, yes. And then now you've got a real mess going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. All right. Anything else on MyHeritage?
Mm-mm.
Cool. All right. I'm going to
Cool.
stop sharing so I can see your faces.
I was going to say last month I asked you all if you'd kind of answer a survey, and what I did find out is I think everybody has tested with Ancestry. Some of you have tested with MyHeritage or have Jed matched, and we asked what you thought you wanted to have done and you're looking for. It was all kind of just more information and so forth and so on. So it was good of you to answer, and we'll kind of look at some of that stuff as we go through there. I did notice that, Roots Tech is coming up in another 2 weeks, I think.
First weekend in March.
First weekend in March, okay. Because it looked like there's some stuff that's already available. There was one, it was Family Search and Family Tree DNA, but the link didn't work. I couldn't make it work, so I don't know if there's something.
Partly what they're doing at Roots Tech, and they've done this the last couple of years, is that for some of those that are for the virtual audience specifically, they've asked them to pre-record. And so they get into the speaker list, but they're not active until Roots Tech starts.
Okay, because this one said it was it was like available, and I'm like, this isn't working, so I
Yeah.
kind of gave up on that one. So I thought that
Well,
would be
some of it
interesting.
is, I don't know this for a fact, but if you don't register for Roots Tech Virtual,
Oh, I haven't registered for Roots Tech this year. If you,
so once you register for Roots Tech Virtual, which is free,
Mhm.
and then the library becomes open, and so the new stuff could become available.
Yes, and
You
so
can go
we
ahead and set
encourage
up your
you,
schedule.
we encourage you all to register for Roots Tech, because that's just you and another 100,000 people. It's always so much fun to find out who you're related to. Like Carla and I are related, and
And I'm related to both of you, I think.
Through the
those,
Wallingfords?
yes, the Wallingfords.
The
Yeah.
Wallingfords. We
So
haven't
you,
figured out exactly where, but we know they are.
Well,
yeah,
and the thing is, if during Roots Tech, so for those of you that are wondering, what the heck are they talking about? They
Yeah.
offer this if you're registered, this relatives at Roots Tech. And what they do is they take the family search tree and where you are in the tree, and they just start spewing out as people that are registered check in, they start to show you how you're related to them based on the family search tree. But you can dig into it, and there's a pedigree chart, I mean, a descendancy chart that takes you both back to
your common ancestor.
your common ancestor. And if you screenshot that, then you can keep it. It only is available for about a month after Roots Tech, and then it goes away.
The key is you actually have to be participating in their family tree, which is the,
Yeah,
I
you
call
have
it
to
the,
be on the tree.
yeah, the tree of the human race. So you have to be on there with your parents and so forth, and connect as you go
But
through
it's
there.
kind of fun. You
It
can
is.
sort, slice and dice it. You can use the app on your phone or your tablet, or you can do it on the computer. And during Roots Tech, you can message those people. Some of them they will let you save them to your contact list,
Mhm.
and then that connection is saved past Roots Tech because they'll be in your contact list.
So what happens is we used to have, shall we say, some friendly rivalry of who had the most common, most relatives there. I think Sherry always won. I don't know. Carla, you may,
I've had over 100,000.
yeah, I never got
Holy
that far.
I
moly.
think I only had 80 something.
And I didn't
Well,
have anywhere near that much.
And I
well,
don't remember.
and that was the year that they had over 1 million people register for Roots Tech. So
Yeah.
they haven't had that in the last couple of years. So it's not that. I think last year I hit 68,000.
And I
You
smile
also
because you
win
can,
just on how many DNA matches you have.
Well, it isn't DNA. It's just the
No,
family
but I mean,
search
you
tree.
on your DNA matches is a huge number too.
yeah,
And my mom always
Oh.
has way more than I do. She has, but to be fair, she has pre-colonial on both sides of her family, and my dad has pre-colonial on one side of his family. So, I
Yeah.
have a wealth of people that have been here for a
Yeah.
really long time.
because Americans are the ones that are doing the DNA for the quest. But I always laugh because on this Roots Tech, when you look at your relatives, you can say, "Oh, tell me how many are matching on my mother's side and how many are matching on my father's side." And the answer is 8,000 are matching on my, or 12,000 or whatever it is, are matching on my mother's side and one on my father's side.
Oh my God.
That's it. So, I mean, he is not his family is mostly, Irish immigrants from, 1860s or so. And so I finally had one person that matched. That was good. I was pleased about that.
Yeah.
And mine
See,
is
my mom's
lopsided
side is
like that.
Mayflower. My dad's side is Jamestown. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So
Teresa,
My
you're going to
dad's
have a lot.
family is split. His mom's family is pre-colonial, and his dad's family came over in 1868.
Mhm.
Teresa, the reason why you have more breakdown in the Irish Isles, right? Everywhere we test, the reason you
Sure.
have a lot more of those than me is because your ancestors are so new to here.
Yeah.
And the fact that mine have been around here since the colonial days, that's
Mhm.
why I don't have those same kind of. So it's a good in one way and bad in
And
another.
the other. But I just thought that was so funny that I get out of 13,000 relatives, one is on my dad's side. I'm like,
Well, the other thing that they do that's kind of interesting to play with is, if you got the time, is they let you sort that list by common ancestor.
mhm,
So it's the common ancestral couple. And
mhm.
so what's interesting, for me is I just like, because the family search tree doesn't require, their goal is to have one profile for every person.
Mhm.
But I've got some of my ancestors. There's a profile for Richard, and there's a profile for Richard Smith, and there's a profile for Richard Smith Katzer, and there's a profile. And so I get that same ancestral couple show up in my list 3 or 4 times because someone has put them in the tree
Yeah.
in a different way, or they've matched them, to a different wife. I get that a lot. I'm like,
Huh.
that doesn't match my genealogy.
Well, I married
Well,
once.
the other thing that is good about that relatives at Ritz Tech is it's a way to identify potential testers. If you're trying to find descendants of a fifth great grandparent or something like that,
Mhm.
Mhm.
you may find them. And the people that are signing up for that at Ritz Tech are at least interested in genealogy. So they
Mhm.
may be more interested in doing a DNA test. Like I've been looking for a match on my fourth or fifth great grandfather on the York line to do a Y-DNA test. And hopefully one of these years I'm going to find the right person that's willing to do it.
Sure. Yeah, that's it.
The other thing that's hilarious is they show what country they're in, because when you check in at Roots Tech, once you've registered and you check in, you have to give them what country you're in. And I have all of these relatives that show up in Japan. I'm like, Japan? Well, then when I go drill in on them, they're actually Mormon missionaries that live in Japan.
Yeah.
In Japan. That's it. Yeah.
Get Australia.
And then the other fun thing that they can do is you can look for famous people that you're related to because of family search. So you can put anybody's name in there. So Lisa, I could put your name in and see if we connect, or I could do anybody's, and just to see.
Well, and it's a sub feature of, they have Relative Finder. If you guys are aware of what
Yeah.
the BYU maintains
Mhm.
what they
Yeah.
call Relative Finder, and so you can go in there and it's categorized by how am I related to all the Mayflower people? How am I related to U.S. presidents? How am I related to
Mhm.
astronauts?
Yeah.
They have these wonderful categories that you can go in and just pick, and you have to just take a deep breath and realize it's from the tree.
Because
And-
you're going back sometimes 14 generations,
oh yeah,
and you only know the first 8. So the other
and
6
that's typically there's
Yeah.
a Facebook page I belong to, and there's a lot of, hey, we're 10th cousins, and I'll go look and I'll say, yeah, but I've only proven back to the 8th great grandparent. I'm not
Right.
all the way back to our common
So
ancestor.
yeah, you have to take a little bit of it on faith, and
Yeah.
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 Call them handshake cousins.
There you go.
There you go.
But
Yeah.
it's still kind of a fun thing to do.
It is.
So my suggestion is you go to Roots Tech, just Google Roots Tech registration and register for it. You have to have an account with Family Search, which I encourage you all to do. So if you have an account with Family Search, then you can register with Roots Tech, and you can see all their videos. And you can see the videos for this year, last year, back to
In the
2020,
chat.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you are in the family tree on Family Search, then you see these other relatives show up. So I don't know, like Kathy Gurley, have you ever done it? Are you in their family tree?
Not that I know of. I have not
Well,
put myself in it.
okay, then.
Well, that
Doesn't mean
doesn't
you're not in
necessarily
it.
mean you aren't in it.
Well, yeah, probably not, because
But-
nobody else in her family cares.
Oh,
Yeah, but if she, as living, if I were to put her in her tree, nobody
Mhm.
else would see it on Family Search except me. So you
Okay.
could be in there 5 different times if you have 5 cousins who all know you,
Yeah.
and Family Search doesn't know that they're all related because it keeps it all private and
Okay,
non-searchable.
okay, all right. But
I have more than 5 cousins.
Yeah.
No, I meant who are into genealogy
know.
on Family Search.
I know.
So
All right, Kathy.
somebody out there might be doing it, but it's it's kind of
So-
fun because generally
Yeah,
most of our grandparents are going to be in there because somebody, or great grandparents, because somebody's put them in, and then all you have to do is hook up to them. So,
Well, and the other
So you
thing
have to-
about registering is they have, because it's an in-person conference and it's a virtual conference, most of the platinum sponsors have big booths in the vendor place, but they are offering sales and discounts on all kinds of stuff. And a lot of those coupons are available to those that are attending virtually. So you want to go visit the virtual vendor show and go through, and some of them are doing presentations and they've got them videotaped, and you can get downloads of syllabuses and you can get coupons for DNA kits and all kinds of stuff.
And there's all kinds of classes that you can set up a schedule for and take online.
yeah. And the other thing is this is the time when a lot of the software companies reveal their upgrades or some new function or tools that you can do through that. So Roots Magic will have something, and Ancestry will have something. They almost always have some sort of announcement that they want to do. So that's it. I don't know. Okay.
There's a lot of good classes for the, what is it, 3 days?
Yes, 3 days.
Yeah, 3 days.
You could sit in front of your Zoom and for 3 days solid. And not
Well, you can do it for a year solid if you're not careful.
Yeah. You can look at last year's classes and the years before that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the library is available ongoing, and you can even sort by which year, or you can sort by a speaker. If there's a if you want to watch Lisa Louise Cook and anything she has done, or if you want to watch Elizabeth Shown Mills or some of those, speakers that and you follow, you can look and see what they've got out there. So,
and if you put in DNA as a search under DNA, that's an extremely popular topic. You will see lots of videos on that. And sometimes it's generic on DNA. Sometimes it's a DNA presentation by MyHeritage or Family Tree DNA or so they'll take you into some of the specific testing companies. They will have done a presentation. So it's hey, and it's all free. You can't argue with that kind of thing. So that's it.
Let me just give you a shot at what the library looks like.
You looking?
I'm looking at classes right now, and there's 2, every hour session has at least 2 classes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was always the problem when you go to these national conferences. What FGS used to do one and NGS used to do one. They'd have like 5 sessions in an hour in a 1 hour period, and you had to choose. And wouldn't you know, the 2 that you really wanted to see were always in the same time period. So the idea that now that they record them, used to be they recorded them and you could get them on a CD for an extra charge. Now it's video. Go ahead, show us off here.
Yeah.
So you can see here trending topics and popular sessions, some of these, and they will show you how long they are and which year they were from. So DNA.
If you started where you started at the top, they have the 2026 sessions. I was just curious if they've got that list.
They have about 350 sessions total. 300 of them are recorded. There's about 50 that are in person only.
Okay. Okay. That's it.
And when I was there last year in person, we'd look and see, are they going to be recorded? We're going to skip that in person and go watch one that either wasn't going to be recorded or, something else at the same time. Because if you know it's going to be recorded,
it looks like
why take your time while you're there?
There we go. Yeah, it's a little slow there. I noticed the Gardner brothers are going to be part of the keynote group. For those of you, they're the 2 young men that look like twins, the brothers though, that do the Irish dancing. They're kind of fun. Okay. All right.
And you can see, here's all the different filter types. So if you wanted to, you could see, I want to see in person or online or only or both. Skill level, if you want to sort it, advanced level or not. The year, right now we're sorted by 2026, but they've got everything back to 2019.
Yeah. So Family Finder Matrix and Chromosome Browser. Okay.
And they give you this good information. This is an online only class. It's intermediate level. It's going to be March 5th at 10 o'clock. And you can see who the speaker is, and I can click on that and I can say, let's see who the speaker is. I'm going to open that up in another tab so I don't lose my place. And they give you the speaker bio. And even for the online ones, if you're registered, oftentimes you can come in here and download the syllabus. So
yeah, so not that we don't want you to sign up for the Iowa PBS classes that we're doing. This is just a nice supplement to it. So that's it. Katie Rowe.
So this
Pure
is,
Ones.
she's a product manager for Family Tree DNA, and you can see her, here's all the sessions that she's doing. And you can see some of these are
Older.
44 minutes. Here's one that was 2025. Here's one that is going to be March 5th. It's 11 minutes. It's 15 minutes. So these have already been recorded and they're available in theory. And you can see some of them have parts. You got to be careful. Part 1, part 2, part 3.
And they build off each other.
Yep. Now it's too early to see if they have handouts, because normally you would click on the class and you would get this display, and
Just downloaded one.
sometimes
that
you
one.
have to click on the session feedback and then go to the every year they seem to move where the handouts are. So you have to be persistent.
Yeah.
So,
oh, wow.
and you can see the whole catalog. So that's kind of how to navigate around. So I just logged in to Roots Tech because I'm already registered. So I'm logged in.
Okay.
And I just went to watch videos and I said, browse the library. So that's how I got to the on-demand library. And this is available all the time.
Yep.
It's just
Yeah,
now
you can-
being updated because of all the stuff for 2026. And it
They don't
keeps
have-
track
they
of
don't
what
have
you've
the-
watched.
They don't have the relative finder up yet, do they?
I
don't
don't
think so.
know.
I don't
So
see
you
it.
can see here's the in-person. If you want to get
It's usually
swag,
turned on that week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
if you want swag, sweatshirts, notebooks, pens, you can go buy them at Roots Tech. Here's a friendly tip. Wait until about a month after the conference because they start putting stuff on sale. You may not get what you want. It may be sold out, but
May not be your size.
I've gotten a lot of stuff on sale.
Really? Okay.
And then here's a chat box. They have a chat for during the conference if you're having problem navigating or you need help or any of that stuff. So
They
okay.
are organized. There's no ifs,
Yeah.
ands, that's about it. They've got organized.
And there's chat right here. So
Glenn, are you going this year?
Yes.
Okay.
And one of the other things about being there in person is that not only can you go to the booth presentations, but you can go to the booths and ask questions about your DNA results, or like in the Family Tree DNA, they've had David Vance and Bennett Greenspan and a couple other senior scientists there that you can talk to about your specific DNA results on a one-on-one basis.
Yeah. You almost have to wander around and grab all of the schedule notes for the booth presentations, because sometimes that's the topic that you really want to know about, and so you'll skip another session just so you could be in the booth and hear that presentation, because that's where they do a lot of announcements about new stuff that's coming out, particularly for Family Search as well as for the big people. Ancestry, Family Tree DNA, MyHeritage. If you sit through a session, sometimes you get good handouts.
Now, those booth presentations are usually a lot more personal because there's 20 people there instead of 300.
Yeah.
So you can actually corner the speaker and ask questions, or talk to them after the presentation and get more details. Or
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that. So who's done something on their DNA since the last time we met? Anybody? I'm just curious.
Well,
Audrey, are
I
you shaking your
have.
head? What did you
I,
do, Audrey?
well, I can't take credit for it, but there's a gentleman that we've been corresponding over for years. So his latest thing is he's researching because he's got the Y, obviously, a line, and he wanted to use my dad's DNA, not use it, but he wanted me to add a name, Mullins, just a name, because he thinks that that is connected, and then he can prove what he's trying to prove. And I said, sure, I'll do it. It's fine with me. And he said, oh my gosh, that helped him so much because now the relativity and his DNA matches now. It's beyond my knowledge what he's doing, but he's pretty excited about it.
Yeah. Good. Good. It's all right. Anybody else? Nobody? No. Hmm. We get together and we talk about this, but you need to go out and do something with it.
Well, it's beyond my knowledge, so I'm glad that my dad's DNA was helping
Help with somebody
him.
else.
And it,
Yeah.
ultimately helps me too because it's so far back and it's in Tennessee and all those they all married each other. So there's just so much to untangle. So he's really I should have him come and give a talk or something because he sounds like what you guys are all doing with the spreadsheets and it takes him years to get this
Yeah.
figured out.
I don't know. That's it. Yeah, we all need to have, all of you should have one thing like is to look at 5 new matches or like 5 mystery matches that are the closest to me and see how they're related. Just see how just it's good experience. It's a
Oh,
good
it's
thing
good
to do.
practice.
It's a
Right.
good practice. See what's
Yeah, well,
going
when
on.
you go back 10 generations, then it gets a little tough.
No, I'm just saying your closest bit mystery masters. I'm not,
Yeah.
if you've got somebody that's in the 60 to 90 range, Santa Morgans, and you don't know who they are, that's prime territory for working on it. So,
Well, I'm working on the book my parents left me, and we're trying to make sure we've got all our ducks in a row, and my family does not like to be in rows. Dealing with my cousin trying to figure out because she really wants this thing to be published. I sent her an email yesterday just saying, the only way we're going to get this published is if we cut it down. So I suggest we go to 3 or 4 generations.
Yeah.
Because at 3 generations, we're talking 50 people plus, listing their children, but not doing the research on their children because at that we still got the cemetery index, all the references, all the census, all of the things around them, the maps, the pictures, all of that also. So we're looking at hundreds, a couple hundred pages minimum just for those people. If we add in the 4th generation, it blossoms to 3 times the number of people. If we go beyond that, it's an oh my God number of people because just my family line, it goes from, well, just looking at the register, we go from, I think it was 22 pages to 130 pages, adding 1 generation to it. And that's just printing it off to work on it. So I told her, I said, that's the reason it never got published by my aunt and my parents because they couldn't find a stopping point. And, to look
Well,
at
and that's kind of where, a lot of people struggle with how much do I want to research and how much do I want to keep? Do I want all the siblings? And, for those of you that might have attended my organization class, you have to make that choice.
Yes. How'd that go? You had quite a few people signed up for it.
I had over 30 that registered. I think
Registered.
we had 16 that showed up on Zoom.
And the
So,
rest are going to watch it after
Well,
the
they're
fact.
yeah, weekends are hard.
Everything.
Yeah, good, good.
So,
One of the projects that I did last year was I went into through lines for all of my second great grandparents and looked at all of the lines that were potential
Mhm.
descendants and researched all of those lines. And if they were correct, I added them to my tree. So now I've got a more complete set of matches at the second great grandparent level on my through lines.
That sounds like an excellent project. Trying to
Yeah, and
think.
that's the other thing for this book. I've added, because my second great grandmother was married before she married my second great grandpa. Well, these are also my cousins.
Mhm.
And the family did not know what had happened to them because they didn't come to the United States with her. Why? We don't know. They were about 13. I think they were 14 and 12 when they came. We had at that point nothing, no information on them. My great aunt had found their birth information in England. That's about all we had. And well, now I've got 15 at least DNA matches on their line. So I've got all of this information to add. One of their sons had 22 children. So
By
I've
one
got,
wife?
no, 3 wives.
Oh, good, good. I was worried about
Yeah.
that woman.
And unfortunately, the only picture we've got of him is when he's like 82. And he looks like the icky old farmer you see at the cafe and just want to go.
Yeah,
I'm sure obviously he caught 3 wives, all of them younger than him. So
yeah.
he had to look like something before, but
Yeah. So I like Glenn's idea that should be our
be a great project. Well, and it's similar to
project.
what Krista Cowan does every Sunday with her dad. They go through all
Yeah.
of their new DNA matches, put
Yeah,
them in the tree.
but just to be focused on the second great grandparents. And I'm like, which generation is that? That's that's back a bit, but
Mhm.
that's all right. And that brings you
Yeah.
down because I've got a lot
And
of
then
them.
my second great grandparents are the ones that came to the United States on my dad's
Mhm.
side.
Mhm. Some of mine
One
came to the
set,
United
one
States,
set up the lot was, yeah.
some are here. What really irritates me is when I get the notice of the new mashes, and I'm all excited because these are people that are Irish, and they only go back 3 generations at the most, and they're relatively young people, and I cannot figure out how we're related. It just
And they don't know.
they don't know. They haven't gone back far enough, and you
They put themselves in,
do I really
maybe
want to
one of
build
their
out their
parents.
tree? Do I want to build out their tree for them? I don't think so. So that's it. But so that's the way
Yeah.
it is. That's the way it is. So that's it.
My newest one yesterday, at least she had it built out to, I only had to add one person to her tree
It's not
to
bad.
match
It's
hers.
not bad.
But
Ooh,
yay!
that's exciting.
It's
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
and how many messages does a person get with, are we related? And then
Well,
I answer,
obviously.
maybe what's your furthest, what's your, ancestor who, because I don't know.
Yeah. The other thing is if you're like some of us, we have multiple trees that we are responsible for on let's say ancestry, because I've done this one, is to please identify which tree that you found the match, which tree you're looking at the match, and or which
Who do you match
person's
with?
whose DNA you're looking at. Because I mean, I got my sisters and my brother and my, and so forth and so on. And if you don't tell me that, I can't help you. I need to know more about it. So that's it. Yeah. And I don't know. That seems to be. So what should we talk about next month? It's awful quiet. Glenn, you have several DNA groups that you do. What would you suggest as a good topic to talk about that you've done lately?
One thing that I want to do, read something about it, but I haven't done it yet, is on 23andMe, if you sign up for their Plus account, which is an extra $69 for the year, and you sign up for their beta program, supposedly they have uh, oh, a matrix now, like the Genetic Affairs or the uh, My Heritage, where you can get the auto clusters. I haven't looked at it yet. I've got to resubscribe to one of the kits I've got for the
Mhm.
advanced matches and then play with it. But I've signed up for the beta so I can do it. But I've got to also pay the extra $69 or whatever.
Well, maybe not. Can you sign up for the beta program without paying the extra $69?
You can sign up for it, but you don't get access to that feature.
What do you get if you sign up for the beta program?
Nothing right now that I've
Okay.
seen.
All right. All right. Oh my God. It's kind of like I haven't checked my ancestry because I don't know if I still have full text search on it. Did anybody else ever get full text search?
Nope.
No.
Haven't looked in
Nope.
ages.
Okay.
I've got it. I haven't
Okay.
looked at it.
Yeah. It is not as robust as Family Search, I'll be honest. Or
Show
I
it
don't.
down in the bottom right corner.
What was that?
Where do you find it?
Under search,
Search.
Under search. It's just one of the search functions.
like at the bottom of the list.
Yeah. If you click on search and then drop down. So
I do.
you do. Okay. We can play with that.
I haven't tried it. I'll have to try it.
And then I had another one on DNA and then it disappeared. What was it? Oh, I could download my results into a spreadsheet, but now I can't do that anymore. So that was a beta type thing.
Full text search doesn't really give you anywhere to full text, does it?
Yeah. So,
May-
okay,
maybe-
well, we'll figure out something for next month. We always do. And maybe we'll watch some more videos.
This time of year, all of the companies are playing with new things that they want to roll out at Rootstech.
Mhm.
So things are going to come and go over the next month that may get rolled out officially at Rootstech.
Yep. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Okay. Well, you guys are a very quiet group. I said there, Tom, Mr. Alger, how's you've been doing a lot of DNA, but maybe not recently.
No, actually, I have been plotting along, but I think, as a lot of people have suggested lately, it's about going sideways instead of back, trying to find those people who are kind of, as mentioned earlier, related in some way, and then try to figure out where that is and who their connections are, and try to make sense out of that, which is kind of like that through lines comment. So
Sure.
that may be a way to approach it.
Maybe a way to approach it, see what happens. Okay. Sherry, you got anything else? Otherwise, we'll go
No,
home.
I think I'm good.
Okay. Sherry and I have got to go finish our handouts.
Well, or design a class. I haven't even started that
Oh,
class.
ow. Do you want my outlines from the last couple of them I presented? I'll
If
send
it's
you
on
my
DNA,
PowerPoint.
yeah, I
It's
got
on DNA, yeah, I'll send you my PowerPoints.
That would be
Cheryl,
lovely
Cheryl.
because it's kind of like I'm trying to compare what Kevin did last year so I don't over repeat
Yeah,
and then figure out what topic to cover that's going to be in 50 minutes.
yeah, 50 minutes. I haven't started. I'm looking at my PowerPoint going, I think this is more than 50 minutes. I got to start practicing it and start cutting it
Cutting it down.
back.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. One of the topics is foreign uh, census records, and you can go down a rabbit hole real common. And I'm like, okay, let's talk about, the various countries that really are very well represented, let's say in Iowa. So I got through German, and that There are none online. That's just given. And then I went into Poland and I went, poor Poland, from 1795 to 1917, part of it was Austrian, part of it was German, Prussian, and part of it was Russian. And so you really don't find Polish census records. It was a learning experience for me. I kind of had fun with that. I also learned if Idaho, let's see, Idaho early census records are in Utah because it was part of the Utah territory.
Sorry.
Or you
Hmm.
or you'd forget that Texas and Hawaii were independent countries for a while. And so those census records are very different. We have the Kingdom of Hawaii, and then we have the Republic of Hawaii, and then 1895 we kind of took them over and made get it there. So you just kind of forget these things until you start poking around in the records as you go through. So that was interesting. Okay. All right.
Well, they both count as foreign records, right?
What?
So they both count as foreign
They
records.
both count as foreign records. That's exactly right. That's it.
Well, and you've got that whole Canadian thing going on.
Yeah, the Canadian thing. Canada's got great records. We like that. Mexico has records, but none of them are online.
Yeah.
You go through this and that, so and so's got records, they're not online. And you're like, yeah, England's got great records, Scotland's got great records. Yeah. And they're in English. That's also important. And Ireland, not so great, but that's it. Okay. All right. Well, let y'all go. We'll see you the first part of March, and have a great Valentine's Day. Okay. All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye.